1, 2, 3, 4. I count the moments and say the basmala in my head. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, it's up to me now. I'm scared. My hands are shaking, my mouth is dry. I cast a look back at the mountains where I have spent my life, where I was born, where my family died, all my family, that is, except my brother Yusuf. I remember what Yusuf said before he set off to storm the fort.
There are moments when, in order to be master of a situation, you have to go mad and keep your head at the same time.
I've made it here with nothing more than the strength of my puny arms and shoulders. Some of my muscles are raw to the touch, like open wounds. Others are dead to all sensation. The stumps of my legs, only recently healed, have begun to bleed. The constant thrusting forward required by my journey has rubbed the sutures raw. I ignore the pain. I ignore everything except the fact of my being here. I tell myself that I am here because my heart is huge and my tenderness is real. I am here to bury my brother according to the tenets of my faith. That is all there is to it.
We're surrounded, and we can't retaliate effectively. We're all firing blind!
They must have started moving into position as soon as the storm began.
The soldiers, they're past the wire.
Lieutenant Nick has been hit!
We're breaking up. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm breaking up with you.
Emily?
Hello, Nick.
Emily, I love you, baby. I got your letter. Please don't do this to me, please.
Why are you calling me, Nick? I asked you not to. It's only going to make this harder.
You sent me a letter telling me you're breaking up with me, and I don't even have the right to ask you what the hell is going on?
I'm sorry, Nick, but I can't talk to you. I'm so sorry.
What is this? Is there someone else?
Of course not. I'd have told you if there was.
Em, I've been counting the days. This is crazy. I'm in the middle of nowhere, entirely dependent on a phone for my sanity, and I don't believe what's happening. You're my lifeline. Tell me this isn't happening. Tell me everything's going to be all right.
Nick?
What?
It's too late.
Why? For God's sakes, why?
Because you've changed. You've changed so much. I read your letters and I don't even know you anymore. There's so much violence in you. Where does it come from?
Violence? Christ! I'm in a war zone in the middle of Afghanistan. What do you expect?
You wanted to go to Yale when we met. Do you remember?
That was a long time ago.
Not so long. 3 years ago.
All right, 3 years. What's your point?
That was the man I fell in love with.
Jesus, people change, Emily.
Not to this extent. I haven't.
I strained to keep calm. You killed my blind father who couldn't fight back. You killed my father from the air. But for you, my mother, my grandmother, my sister Fazia, my sister-in-law, and my little brother Eunice would all be alive. This isn't war, but the slaughter of innocents.
It's sad. We're both Afghan, we're much the same age, and yet we're on opposite sides. I work with the Americans because 9 years ago the Taliban slaughtered my family. We were prosperous traders in Charikar. My mother was an educated woman. In other words, I understand how you feel. Believe me. But I sincerely think the Americans are here to help us, to make our lives better before they leave. And you? I suppose you believe with equal sincerity just the opposite, because they killed your family.
I can't do this anymore. That girl out there is officially my breaking point. I don't want to be part of the sit rep that writes her off as collateral damage. How difficult is that to understand? When you kill people and wipe out their families, strafe their homes and burn down their villages, litter their fields with fragmentation bombs, and gun down livestock, you've lost the whole battle for hearts and minds. We are not winning this war. We are creating lifelong enemies.
Like that girl in the cart, First Sergeant. I'd like to cover that sleeping girl with a proper blanket and slide a pillow under her head. It ain't right for her to be there like that. I thought we was here to help these people.
You're assuming she's innocent. I counter. You're ignoring the fact that it might have to do with their whole religious shtick.
1, 2, 3, 4.